Good morning, dear friends. In last lecture, we started with analgesics. There are two types of analgesics. One is to be narcotic analgesics or opioid analgesics, and second one, that is non-narcotic analgesics, or also called as NSAID drugs, that is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. These drugs also called as analgesic, antipyretic and anti-inflammatory drugs. Remember the other names, that is analgesics, antipyretic and anti-inflammatory drugs. Now already we completed definition of analgesic, that these agents by acting on central nervous system relieve pain sensation but without producing any degree of loss of consciousness. That is that drug called as analgesics. Now what are antipyretic? Antipyretic are those drugs which reduces abnormally elevated body temperature to normal condition. Whenever there is a abnormally elevation in body temperature occurs, you know that 37 degrees centigrade, this is normal body temperature. Antipyretic, those drug that is used to reduces abnormally elevated body temperature to normal. We know that 37 degrees centigrade, this is the normal body temperature. But due to certain conditions, maybe bacterial infection or any type of infection occurs, or due to the environmental condition, whenever there is a abnormally elevated rise in body temperature takes place, more than 37 degrees centigrade condition occurs, then the condition is called as pyrexia or also called as the fever. Isn't it? So under pyrexia or fever condition, these drugs when given reduces abnormally elevated body temperature to normal. If suppose, remember that this antipyretic drug, if given to normal body temperature 37 degrees centigrade, doesn't reduces below 37 degrees centigrade, isn't it? These drugs are effective only in pyrexia or fever condition. That is, these drugs, antipyretic, sometimes they will define antipyretic, that these are the drugs which reduces abnormally elevated body temperature to normal, and therefore such drugs are called as antipyretic. Then third definition, anti-inflammatory. Anti-inflammatory are those drugs which reduces inflammation or which reduces swelling. Whenever there is a capillary permeability increases, that leads to process inflammation or swelling. So these agents reduces inflammation or swelling, and therefore such a drug are called as anti-inflammatory. So this type of the drug called as analgesic, antipyretic and anti-inflammatory drug. So sometimes we will define analgesic, antipyretic and anti-inflammatory. So you supposed to write all these three definitions separately. Already we know analgesic, that those agents relieve pain sensation without producing loss of consciousness by acting on central nervous system. While antipyretic are those drugs which reduces abnormally elevated body temperature to normal, while anti-inflammatory are those drugs which reduces inflammation or swelling. Now these non-narcotic or NSAID drug or analgesic, antipyretic, anti-inflammatory drug broadly classified according to the chemical structural group. Whatever the chemical structural group present in compound, according to these various types of NSAID drug. Last time we completed that narcotic drug or opioid analgesic classified into three types: natural opium compound, semi-synthetic derivatives, and third one is synthetic. Sometimes they may ask classified narcotic or opioid analgesic. That time you write down only these three. Sometimes they will ask define and classify NSAID drug or classify NSAID drug. That time you supposed to classify that these drugs classified according to chemical structural group into different types. So let us see first type, that is salicylates. That those compounds containing salicylate, that is salicylic acid, that is the basic structure present in compound. Example, aspirin. This aspirin is also called as acetyl salicylic acid. Remember another name, that it is also called as acetyl salicylic acid. Another example, methyl salicylate, isn't it? So sodium salicylate, these are the example of drug belonging to the first category, that is salicylate. Example aspirin. Aspirin is also called as acetyl salicylic acid. Another example methyl salicylate and sodium salicylate. Second type propionate or aniline derivatives, that is belonging to aniline compound, or also called as para-aminophenol compounds or para-aminophenol derivatives, or that is also called as aniline derivatives, that is benzene ring with attachment of amino group, and therefore called as para-aminophenol derivatives or aniline derivatives. Example paracetamol. This paracetamol, phenacetin, these drugs belonging to this category. Then third type, that is called as propionic acid derivative. It containing 3 carbon chain compounds, and therefore those drug molecule, chemical structural molecule containing propionic acid basic nucleus and used as NSAID drug. Example ibuprofen, butaprofen, ketoprofen. These are the drugs belonging to this category, that is propionic acid derivative. Then next type, that is called as aryl acetic acid derivative, that chemically it containing aryl acetic acid basic nucleus. Example diclofenac. All these drugs used in today's practice also. Then next type, that is called as oxycam derivatives. Oxycam derivatives, that is piroxicam. This piroxicam, that is also we use as analgesic and anti-inflammatory drug. Next type, that is called as anthranylic acid derivatives, chemically containing anthranylic acid basic nucleus. Example mefenamic acid. Nowadays this mefenamic acid, that is used majorly along with paracetamol, used as antipyretic agent. In addition to this, another type, that is called as pyrazole derivatives. Pyrazole derivatives like phenylbutazole, oxyphenbutazole, these drugs belonging to pyrazole derivatives. So this is full classification of NSAID drug. Separately they will be asked classify or define analgesic, classify NSAID drug. That time you supposed to write out definition of analgesic and give classification with example. Or they will be asked define and classify analgesic, antipyretic, anti-inflammatory. First you define all these 3 terms and then classify according to this. First type, that is salicylates. Example aspirin or acetyl salicylic acid, methyl salicylate and sodium salicylate. Second type para-aminophenol derivatives, or also called as aniline derivatives. Example paracetamol, phenacetin. Third type propionic acid derivative, that is ibuprofen, butaprofen, ketoprofen. Aryl acetic acid derivatives, diclofenac. Oxycam derivatives, piroxicam. Then anthranylic acid derivatives, example mefenamic acid, and pyrazole derivatives, that is phenylbutazone and oxyphenbutazone. Even in today's practice, all these drugs used in combination. You know that ibuprofen with paracetamol used in combination, or diclofenac with paracetamol, that is paracetamol, that is purely used as antipyretic agent. If given along with this drug, produces analgesic, antipyretic and anti-inflammatory action. So these drugs are called as NSAID drug or analgesic, antipyretic and anti-inflammatory drug. So remember that full question may be asked, that define and classify analgesic, antipyretic, anti-inflammatory, or classify NSAID with examples. Now the next point in this chapter, that is how body temperature regulation takes place in body. That is body temperature regulation, or it is also called as mechanism of action of NSAID. You know that the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug that is used as analgesic, antipyretic and anti-inflammatory. But how these agents reduces pain, reduces elevated body temperature, as well as how reduces inflammation. That is called as mechanism of action of NSAID, or also called as how temperature regulation occurs in body. You know that our human body temperature, that is 37 degrees centigrade. This is the normal body temperature, which is regulated by hypothalamus. This body temperature regulated by hypothalamus. You know already in HAP, in last year you will know that hypothalamus, that is controlling body temperature, isn't it? So this 37 degrees centigrade body temperature regulated through hypothalamus by means of 2 mechanisms. One, that is cutaneous vasodilation, and second one, that is called as cutaneous vasoconstriction. this body temperature regulated to 37 degrees centigrade by means of two mechanisms. One, that is cutaneous vasodilation and cutaneous vasoconstriction. Whenever there is a rise in body temperature more than 37 degrees centigrade, whenever there is a fever condition, naturally through hypothalamus there is a cutaneous vasodilation process take place. जेव्हा आपलं बॉडी टेम्परेचर मोर दॅन 37 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड जाईल, जेव्हा फीवर कंडिशन असेल, that time naturally काय होणार आहे की there is a cutaneous vasodilation process take place. Cutaneous vasodilation when occurs increases sweat gland activity and thereby excessive sweating occurs to patient. Isn't it? That is naturally there is a cutaneous vasodilation. While in winter season there is a naturally cutaneous vasoconstriction takes place that decreases sweat gland activity and maintaining body temperature to 37 degrees centigrade through hypothalamus. Now what happens whenever there is a pain, fever or inflammation condition occurs in body, that time the substance released from body that is called as arachidonic acid. This arachidonic acid liberated from phospholipid fractions of cell membrane. You remember the mechanism of action that whenever there is a pain, fever or inflammation condition occurs in body, the substance released from body that is called as arachidonic acid. This arachidonic acid liberated from phospholipid fractions of cell membrane and enzymatic action take place on this arachidonic acid. In presence of enzyme, this arachidonic acid converted into prostaglandin. It converted into prostaglandin. Remember PG. In presence of enzyme, that is by enzymatic action, this arachidonic acid is converted into prostaglandin. Whenever there is a synthesis of prostaglandin occurs, this prostaglandin causes upward setting of hypothalamus. It causes disturbances in function of hypothalamus. Means the body temperature is going to be affected. Because of what? Because of synthesis of prostaglandin, it causes upward setting of hypothalamus. Due to upward setting of hypothalamus, there is a rise in body temperature. Isn't it? That is produces fever condition. Similarly, due to synthesis of prostaglandin, there is a pain tolerating capacity of the patient decreases, and that leads to produces pain sensation. Isn't it? Even due to synthesis of prostaglandin, capillary permeability increases. Due to release of histamine, there is a capillary permeability increases. When capillary permeability increases, that leads to produces inflammation or swelling, and thereby there is the occurrence of pain, fever, and inflammation condition occurs due to synthesis of prostaglandin from arachidonic acid. Synthesized from arachidonic acid by enzymatic action, and due to synthesis of prostaglandin there is a occurrence of the pain, fever and inflammation condition occurs. But under such a condition, when this non-narcotic analgesic drug or NSAID drug given to the patient, any drug, maybe aspirin, maybe paracetamol, maybe diclofenac, maybe ibuprofen, any drug, when given, this drug blocking the conversion of arachidonic acid to prostaglandin, it inhibiting synthesis of prostaglandin, it block the conversion of arachidonic acid into prostaglandin, and thereby there is no synthesis of prostaglandin. When prostaglandin synthesis is inhibited, directly maintaining the pain tolerating capacity, there is a cutaneous or maintain the function of hypothalamus, vasodilation, vasoconstriction process occurs, and also may not be affecting to capillary permeability, and thereby these drugs are used in treatment of pain, fever and inflammation, and therefore these non-narcotic analgesics also called as analgesic, antipyretic and anti-inflammatory. Analgesic that is using pain, antipyretic that is using fever, and anti-inflammatory that is using inflammation. So this is how that this analgesic, antipyretic, anti-inflammatory drug by inhibiting synthesis of prostaglandin used in treatment of pain, fever and inflammation, thereby used as analgesic, antipyretic and anti-inflammatory. So remember this is to be called as mechanism of action. They will be asked for 4 marks. Describe mechanism of action of NSAID drug. How these drugs are used, or how body temperature is going to be regulated. That body temperature is regulated through hypothalamus by means of two mechanisms: cutaneous vasodilation and cutaneous vasoconstriction mechanism. Isn't it? So this is how that body temperature regulation occurs in body, or mechanism of action of NSAID. Now let us start with the first drug under NSAID drug, that is aspirin. Aspirin, this drug belonging to first category, that is salicylate. Already we completed classification, that is salicylate. Under salicylate example, that is aspirin. This aspirin is also called as acetyl salicylic acid. Acetyl salicylic acid. Another example, sodium salicylate, methyl salicylate. Now here aspirin is most important drug. If you understand pharmacological action of aspirin, then it is very easy to understand NSAID drug. So this aspirin drug that is used in variety of condition and produces variety of the action. First major action of aspirin, that is on central nervous system, and by acting on central nervous system it majorly produces first action, that is analgesic action. By acting on CNS it produces analgesic action. That when aspirin given to the patient, it relieves pain sensation. It increases pain tolerating capacity of patient because of inhibiting synthesis of prostaglandin. When prostaglandin synthesis is inhibited from arachidonic acid, this synthesis of prostaglandin when inhibited, pain tolerating capacity of patient increases and thereby it relieves pain, that is produces analgesic action. It is used in all types of the pain, maybe moderate pain, maybe headache, maybe toothache, any type of the pain relieved because of aspirin drug. Another pharmacological action under CNS, that it produces antipyretic action, that is it reduces abnormally elevated body temperature to normal, that is up to 37 degrees centigrade. This is again by said that it causes inhibiting synthesis of prostaglandin and thereby produces cutaneous vasodilation process. In fever, whenever there is a fever or pyrexia condition occurs, and if analgesic drug given, maybe suppose aspirin given, it inhibiting synthesis of prostaglandin causes cutaneous vasodilation, increases sweat gland activity. तुम्ही बघा की केव्हा पण आपण जेव्हा ॲस्पिरिन ड्रग देतो तेव्हा ताप आलेला असतो आणि कुठे एनाल्जेसिक ड्रग दिला त्यावेळेस घाम येतो पेशंट. वाय? बिकॉज दिस ड्रग इनहिबिटिंग prostaglandin synthesis and causes cutaneous vasodilation. When cutaneous vasodilation occurs, sweat gland activity increases, more sweating occurs and thereby maintaining body temperature to 37 degrees centigrade. Third action, that is it also produces anti-inflammatory and anti-rheumatic action. Anti-rheumatic, that is used in treatment of rheumatism. Rheumatism in Marathi called as Sandhiwan. So that is produces anti-inflammatory, that reduces inflammation, swelling, and also used in treatment of rheumatoid arthritis condition. This aspirin drug also effective, or variety of NSAID drug also used as analgesic, antipyretic, anti-inflammatory, and anti-rheumatic. This is because it decreases capillary permeability of cell membrane. Whenever there is a prostaglandin synthesis increases, it causes increase in capillary permeability, that produces inflammation of swelling. But when NSAID drug given, it decreases capillary permeability and thereby reduces inflammation and swelling. Then another action under central nervous system, that these drugs are used in treatment of gout, or that is also called as uricosuric effect. Now first means what is gout? Gout, that is an acute disorder of joints. There is a acute severe pain occurs at the site of joint due to increase in synthesis of uric acid. When uric acid concentration increases in body, whenever there is a reabsorption of uric acid occurs, whenever there is a uric acid concentration increases, that leads to process joint pain. This uric acid concentration increases reabsorption and that form the crystals at the site of joint. That is called as sodium urate crystal at the site of joint, and that produces severe pain at the site of joint. That disorder that is called as gout. This is occurs because of what? Because of the abnormal purine metabolism. Whenever there is a abnormally purine metabolism occurs in body, uric acid concentration increases, and that leads to form sodium urate crystal at the site of joint, and that produces severe attack of pain at the site of joint. That disorder that is called as gout. Sometimes they will be asked what is gout. You are supposed to explain that it is a purine abnormal metabolism condition due to increasing level of uric acid in body. Whenever uric acid concentration increases, it forms crystal at the site of joint, and that produces severe joint pain, that is called as gout. Under such a condition, when aspirin given in higher doses, suppose for these three actions, analgesic, antibiotic, anti-inflammatory action. It is used in the dose of 1 to 2 gram in divided doses. While for uricosuric effect or while for the treatment of gout, it is used in higher doses up to 7 to 8 gram dose by oral route of administration. So it is also used in treatment of gout or process uricosuric effect when aspirin given in higher doses, that is up to 7 to 8 gram dose per day. It increases uric acid excretion, and when uric acid facilitation occurs, decreases concentration of uric acid in body and thereby used in treatment of gout. So this is the first action that is on CNS. In addition to this aspirin or salicylate drug also acting on GIT, that is on gastrointestinal tract. By acting on gastrointestinal tract, whenever there is aspirin given to the patient, it acts by inhibiting prostaglandin synthesis. When prostaglandin synthesis inhibited, increases peritoneal cell activity. When peritoneal cell activity increases gastric hydrochloric acid secretion. म्हणजे काय होणार आहे, whenever जेव्हा कुठे आपण aspirin drug, ibuprofen, diclofenac, indomethacin कुठलाही drug जेव्हा आपण देणार पेशंटला, that time by acting on GIT, you know that these drugs act by inhibiting prostaglandin synthesis mechanism. That time peritoneal cell activity increases gastric hydrochloric acid secretion, and that leads to process hyperacidity condition in patient. कि patient ला hyperacidity होईल. का होईल? Because these drugs act by inhibiting synthesis of prostaglandin, thereby increases gastric hydrochloric acid secretion. To overcome this effect, always NSAID drug, maybe diclofenac, maybe ibuprofen, maybe any type of NSAID drug should not be given in empty stomach. कधीही पेशंटला empty stomach मध्ये द्यायचं नाही. What is the reason? That by this mechanism it increases gastric hydrochloric acid secretion, that process metabolic acidosis condition, hyperchlorhydria condition occurs in patient, thereby process nausea, vomiting, epigastric distress to the patient. In some time, in peptic ulcer patient, if suppose already patient suffering from peptic ulcer, and if NSAID drug given in empty stomach, this drug increases severe gastric hydrochloric acid secretion. That leads to process gastric hemorrhage. Internally there is a hemorrhage may take place. Internally GIT bleeding may occur in peptic ulcer patient, and therefore these drug, aspirin drug or NSAID drug should be contraindicated, should not be given to peptic ulcer patient. So here you remember the due reason. There may be question that why NSAID drug or aspirin drug should not be given in empty stomach, or these drugs should not be given to peptic ulcer patient. Or same question in another way, that whenever aspirin or NSAID drug given, antacid drug should be given to the patient, or sodium bicarbonate given to the patient. What is the reason? That this antacid drug or sodium bicarbonate drug neutralize excessive gastric hydrochloric acid, and it relieves metabolic acidosis condition, and therefore always these drugs given along with the antacid. आजकाल आपण बघतो कधी पण डायक्लोफेनाक किंवा इंडोमेथॅक्सिन कुठलाही NSAID ड्रग दिला असेल त्याच्यासोबत डॉक्टर काय देतील, अँटासिड ड्रग ऑन सोडियम बायकार्बोनेट. सो देयर आर 4 to 5 way for question, but answer is going to be same. That why aspirin should not be given in empty stomach, why it should be given after food or after meal, जेवणानंतर का द्यायचे, why it should not be given to peptic ulcer patient, or another way for question that along with aspirin or along with NSAID, antacid or sodium bicarbonate. Question is going to be different, but answer is going to be same. That because these drugs act by inhibiting prostaglandin synthesis, thereby increases peritoneal cell activity, increases gastric hydrochloric acid secretion, that leads to process hyperacidity. And already in peptic ulcer patient there is a hyperacidity. If given there is a metabolic acidosis condition occurs, GIT bleeding may take place, nausea, vomiting, epigastric distress condition occurs in patient. To overcome this, it should not be given in empty stomach, it should not be given to peptic ulcer patient, or to overcome this, it should be given after food, जेवणानंतर द्यायचे, or after meal, or it should be given along with antacid or sodium bicarbonate. These drugs relieve or neutralizes this excessive gastric hydrochloric acid condition. So this is the second action, that is on GIT. Next, another action of aspirin, that is on cardiovascular system. In addition to this, majorly this aspirin used as antiplatelet agent. Antiplatelet antiplatelet agent that is used in particularly in hyperlipidemic patient. की ज्या पेशंटचं लिपिड कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन कोलेस्ट्रॉल लेवल जास्त असते. In that patient, aspirin that is the most effective. You know that in market there is a variety of soluble aspirin tablet available in market. So Ecosprin tablet, Colosprin tablet, it contains soluble aspirin. Even Disprin tablet. These drugs used as antiplatelet agent, increases blood circulation. Whenever there is a given to hyperlipidemic patient, ज्या patient मध्ये lipid concentration जास्त आहे, cholesterol concentration जास्त आहे, in that patient this drug increases what? Increases blood circulation, and that produces antiplatelet activity, preventing clotting of blood or coagulation of blood also prevented because of antiplatelet activity. So this is another major important pharmacological action of aspirin, that particularly the trade name available in market, that is Ecosprin tablet. Then Colosprin tablet used as antiplatelet agent, increases blood circulation, particularly in cardiovascular disorder patient, hyperlipidemic patient, ज्या patient में cholesterol जास्त है, in that patient this drug increases blood circulation, preventing clotting of blood, coagulation of blood prevented, and thereby used as antiplatelet agent. In addition to this, another action that is on respiratory system. This aspirin drug stimulating respiration, that it increases carbon dioxide production, increases consumption of oxygen, and thereby increases carbon dioxide production, and thereby indirectly stimulating respiration in patient. And last action, that is local or topical effect. Local or topical action of aspirin. Locally, this aspirin used as fungistatic and keratolytic. That is in the form of ointment along with benzoic acid and aspirin, used as a fungistatic. That is used in fungal infection. You know that various of cream available in market. So generally 3% salicylic acid and 6% benzoic acid. This combination used as antifungal drug. So it is used as a fungistatic, keratolytic, also used in treatment of corn, and locally this methyl salicylate used as anti-inflammatory drug. Particularly Iodex. You know that in Iodex it contains what? It contains methyl salicylate. So it is used as anti-inflammatory, anti-rheumatic also. So locally in the form of ointment, cream, it is used as fungistatic and keratolytic, that is used in treatment of corn, and also methyl salicylate, that is used as counter-irritant and lubrificant. So these are the different pharmacological actions of aspirin. Majorly, so if you understand pharmacological action, tell me the therapeutic uses. What are the therapeutic uses of aspirin? First uses, that it is used as analgesic drug. It will do all types of things by inhibiting synthesis of prostaglandin. Second use, that used as antipyretic drug. In fever or pyrexia, it reduces abnormal elevated body temperature to normal by cutaneous vasodilation process. Also used as anti-inflammatory and anti-rheumatic. If you understand pharmacological action, you can write therapeutic uses. So another use that also used in treatment of gout. एखादा ज्याच्यावर सेपरेट क्वेश्चन विचारला, what is gout? Give the treatment for gout. So you know that gout, that is because of what? It is a purine abnormal metabolism that increases uric acid concentration in body, and that forms sodium urate crystal at the site of joint, and that causes acute attack of pain. That disorder that is called as gout. In treatment of gout, particularly aspirin in higher dose is used. Also colchicine, phenylbutazone drug, corticosteroid treatment also be given in treatment of gout. So that line of treatment also given. Then another use of aspirin drug or acetylsalicylic acid drug, that also is used as antiplatelet agent, particularly used in hyperlipidemic condition. Then locally or topically it is used as fungistatic, keratolytic agent, and methyl salicylate, that is used as counter-irritant and lubrificant action. So these are the different pharmacological actions and therapeutic uses of aspirin drug. So remaining point we'll see next time.